It's like my experience right now is that since plan I'm going to be more likely to that to throw or into that eventually do right now entry towards that kid and this kid to trust entry to think that kid might be really vaccine plans that we were saying. They're playing with the fact that vaccine might have created an of this plan that vaccine and through lack facing that lack controlling for until this very day that users might frequently show up to the hospital and so on like the better than vaccine and might pray connected with it so that it can be safe. Might be that the routine of like the person might be the case of related to that vaccine. The person might be aware of that around like a couple of next time when the person would be playing like in the for like my chick at the even favorite. Definitely my thing plan also different acting like a tiny accordingly so that like vaccine and falling through their strategy 23 for like for like boarding to like innocently interact with language now return back to the house and interact with language now and actually while in like the public of template for like falling to like attempt to like the statement away and for like that way to like to entry to soft entry to like for peer transfer like boarding that one for body to like run towards the tail and in the food like the narrow end of like the tail and while every would be standing in front of the cave with like a vibrant like tree. It's that point for like nineteen unloadable at that point to be the portion of strategy will come from different to this just be hiding outside of the cave for like 19 to like get that out to look at to from behind Henry and like push Henry the fight of Henry to that the cave and then it leads to like the end of narrow and so like the cave that so although that it was like stuff narrow and went up like cave and now those things fight and like or the Atlantic right and so the Atlantic would have come from or the remaining exit out of that cave as well the black border to be around like I think the scenario through the measure plan and the to forward personality to be customer friendly. Like maintain the like maintain plan was like more and more the things like so we getting more like customer like only with the internet like the case to like they might have agreed upon perfect tiny exit for like particular exit for like or to exit out like the game like in the game. So soon after like only was the exiting from the game after like 90 pushing information to that game after like calling for like body could actively the exit like the game through that can narrow Zimbabwe and basically to that different narrow Zimbabwe and like for like to be for like at that point just was maxing to like place another both or that exit as well. So that's why I think they will be with that maximization of the place of the expectation of like the Henry while Henry will be trapped within that case, even though Henry could like change his like memory like still due to like that try to like secret like changing Henry's memory and that way to like exit how that way to only easy for like right but CR with the Henry to be along the lines of like the magazine Henry plays the minimum transaction. So like that point for like that way for like let's say along with like only to that exit and makes the amount for like the exact location uh, during that exact time period that black market might be without realizing that market is entirely unaware of black and doing such program on the mission uh, to save like individuals and like the 19. So definitely 19 may be entirely unaware of it. So definitely might be the same. So definitely 19 so different about technology executing the strategy and like making the amount while interview approach over that whereby that we are under the transit in that cave like eventually to a passionate in a body making the towards that exactly creation existing for like challenges to like play the music and definitely I think content of very major also in that like regardless of where or right now major they can knowledge that one like right now would be affected by the CR like you feel like how high might like all the remaining monsters like even they are most of the time right now and body would be also getting affected due to like the high might get of the rest of land before that's like maybe having and like so the like intellectual knowledge that we regardless of that, like take one like Hollywood will make that first and take it back to like Hollywood. At that point, Hollywood is easily able to like bring up from any trap situation to be along the lines of like expectation. Try to like nothing made out all the like all is 15 as screen, right? So, but then the print machine as like machine all is related that on for like and to reach that location for like and I could so below expecting for like to this today that when like the base is not playing that day due to like the free bar like the gun like now we have to go to like full that being that figure like that car is pay of like matching plan like this thing that getting the phenomenon and of course something again that's why I'm going that the but in the twin deployment shop for like how they like end up doing different thing and only safely waiting for like to play the game. So like when you run like matching folks might use such that like can be like matching Monday for like one day on so like a mind world like engineering hoping for like audit memory as well might it compare the mind world in terms of if that to play music on that day that not it might not just affect like maxing that alone that even if that was like the real world play music on like maxing here like it might also affect like bodies memories as well. And that way affect like bodies as well. And that way like along with like matching like body as well as that might be able to like all the music might be able to that going back to body. But might be along the line some of different like matching shape in that as well might be just the case with the minimum drainage. So, through that is why the minimum drainage. But like none of these things happening and like very much bigger scenario to be like matching and holding that basically waiting for like people to like play the music, but like that's really happening and then losing and valuable time until eventually like I'm looking that when Henry escaping out of like managing struggling way into like people struggling way through that as well. Feel like managing to like uh, escape out of the cave and like trying to really ending up or like actually ending up going up to that location or like Nigeria and falling to waiting and that way and trying capturing for only the pillar magic at that point is like to now that I'm doing an and that's so they know the potential to be only at that point that like only to be actually like the whole form the back number form of like country that giving the tsunami that I'm doing. Okay, so like you know, right now for right now for the industry right now getting trade let's say yeah, even and more was like preparation to the game in famous like now that I'm the name is like in for like elements like cover to get the growth. And basically at that point I'm sort of thinking like in the like plans to doing like relevant and then for and elements and more happening at that fourth class literally putting it out of like elements to the like one. Um uh, Facing against like Sullivan like team while overall protecting at that point trying to make his way towards like Vietnam trying to like bring down Vietnam like the younger than the those but like I'm protecting for like by the time overall they almost making it towards like Vietnam so between a lot of like destruction happening in that the which uh, lab uh, due to like the clash between like and like Sullivan so then that resulting in the security system malfunctioning and basically that resulting in that but not getting free due to that purpose like bringing the scenario that I'm going to point so that once like properly almost making it towards that when now the point that they call like it's now getting bringing just like for the man like saying it's now that yeah. That by one to my friend number or in like the movement but now would be saying that at that point of the straight away for six months escape escaping into like the giant circular on the monster walls like very big. So now that I'm going to play. So definitely I'm bring that when actually to be planning like basically maybe business only now actually move on pocket the maybe only that now the second week might be very the definitely to bring that with now straight away focusing on the like escapes to that circular wall and so to bring another searing in that kind of through taking focus by taking focus with that right now or like everything but now making sure that making it to that and integrating and entering to that the diagnosis then the walls like feeling the scenario that I'm going to game. And luckily that according to my preference, luckily paying the core like even the core like even to be able to that make it towards like when not like able to that and so sorry when the skin definitely looking ending up between 11 throw the sound wave kind of like device that and that even goes that using that to that defeat 11 and then able that device that do that and the like able to check in now that way like then the team and the capturing it was like the scenario then we will bring it to. Okay, so then definitely strengthen by the for like my let's try to get that sorry and basically then not being able to that transport like target from trying to leverage another because when instead like I'm putting them or getting captured by like before like maxi step now that I'm very different and that way like I'm bring that the target uh getting put back into that their work and basically wise and that they are adapting, getting put into a different way to go like the economic that I'm looking. So that that kind of one thing for like support to like take to like it so they might and take during my time because like I'm closing up like it might maybe at my time like so it might be expected to make the projectors to like maxi might identity stuff so like at that point maybe we have sentiment itself that do the interrogation that might and the might and stream might be along the lines of the about whether that might take the that way that might enhance the stream that will trap it and then what's the thing for like might and stream might now for stream trying to prepare for such uh, scenario where like they are trying failing and basically they're getting captured by the support of the technology. So that even in such captured and it's kind of state like for them to like escape that the range like the preparation like my kind of thing might have done before they're trying to like embrace the technology might be like that with the case of that way like I'm different like might still managing to managing to that create certain complex interrogation for me by my time like just not that I'm about the so yeah at I'm like at night time that just like later I'm working coming for that it's like target like it's not that so like by then I'm probably saying that I can feel that we could be like make it to like the home or like the target should be at that point I'm probably going before like the course would be making it to that like it's probably for will most likely at that point that gaining more like a control and will at that point like find like easily focus on other things to like actually control like the level and that will actually manage like stop prevent like the level again taking the target and will manage like give the whole impact in order that opposite to that of like the home of like when will manage like into that and working to turn back to not take the targets and maybe to for like the whole event to like turn back to going back to Vietnam to the lines of different depth and at that point willing like all to that and the morning. And at that point that the important straight away following that was when basically creating a forward of the board and basically straight away running off to like the battle towards like Vietnam's level, which now that but like by then like Vietnam would most likely have escaped from like the game with us that and but now I'm talking about by then to have made it back into entering into the like the balance of the was like missionary kind of so like that day I'm totally trying at that point like we will be for the entering into this part of the curriculum and like the mobile will be creating a report and the select the value for that point itself on the point that the photo like basically showing up into that own respective targets. And at that point, for example, like that might and then that thing escaping from tentacles by like entering through that portal to the paragon, like I can then that thing escaping to the paragon and that point dealing the targets and all the remaining civilians behind us like it's not challenging. So that and then over the moment my kind of thing would be entering like the paragon that way the portal black quickly closing behind them by the time that the process would be making the reflectors and referring so that way I'm going to think the moment my canteen will be under the transport itself check and the point that the radio phone that basically picking up that the signal and of things like this now for the so like that feel like I'm relaxed at that point that facilitating my canteen to that to come to like the exact location where like often and we had also to be expected to like the data set. So like that way might stream reuniting with that often and then we stream. There's like a given scenario that I'm still okay. And that the thing at that point like when that is that the team just together deciding to like head for like focus lab and find out like the history behind like the focus lab and like the giant stuff it up on the board. So you feel like the name of those variants right now that might be the claim that might be actually claimed to destroy that science that legal can provide for like intent for like to like when multiple STEM work and to like captures the answer again target that so we have different solvent and this like and gas pages for based on the field again like the harmony kind of this like in our seven is going and is remember different possibly so unit I don't try to do engineering and that remember those like texture for that is the solvent has been is now it's better than the body and I'm looking forward and goes as well as my second things to like protect like the target of like now from the top of and definitely getting clear and silent with that and starting with like the final individual balance of the things gets silent by like the when either with that and that's like that point of a different thing and put no standing in like the way between lecture and working like the target to like now that so like after lecture and working the capture like the target that time like last second just when I'm looking with that has you will need to like everything into the kind of into that control like the environment of that the process and basically that they will succeed in that controlling the like the work and the inside that to get the but that give a good example that is going to be able to at that point is when I'm sort of for like starting to lay witness to that or like kind of structuring of everything. At the end of when from that point on it's like Sullivan had to like revenue for to do online site of that migrant teams like it's not but still I'm looking from the state to this is the big having women state tendency it kind of experience technical things so they might be absolutely like like they might be problem laptop that might identify on that it might be that it is the plain for that but there might be the head for them might have been in the week of case like ultimate for might be to them to be to turn like some of the capture with some of the life and this we turn like the all the monsters into but might be starting orders from certain individuals in to perform like even for the game might be looking for and getting for might be like motor and everything might be that that's the okay the game is definitely better very that way one member in right now for like parliament to like application by manufactured demogorgons like that and yet like I'm looking for like over second to that for down right now probably back and that only resulting in like right now getting free that are present of offer only resulting in like right now getting free is like now that and like I'm different soon after like but now to getting free like I'm different by then like I'm different that getting back up basically chasing after like of that I'm offering maybe a struggle between that of and of what's again happening so like what's been better so that definitely I'm different to towards like waking up so bring in so like when that's like I think like there and there might be kind of a secret door towards that one. So like you said, yeah, thing for okay, getting back up and basically iterating into that room so that kind of secret door is like being written out of that. That way like I'm that struggle between that of once again struggle between that of kind of okay happening as like for the other people like now like us like so like now that and then struggle that between that over and share something in like now it's like getting feel like I'm putting that between the thing like some but like some but getting frustrated that that the kind of situation of that but not and it was anything serious like this now it went so looking at yeah but the moment when now we getting feel that I'm getting more for India right now for like now straight away saying like now trade towards lack of stay for like like it's another thing they might not take to wonder on like a lot of time so that they so they I mean like right now straight away of the for the lack of stay randomly so the parang like now some leading of the for just like now like they having plans for like how on now but since 20 months previous. So that solely due to that reason I don't like I'm different land such a feedback now that taking how and basically setting that to heading off to like the circle of most long and entering that circle of resource and it's not planning the other thing. So this is the name right now for laboratory and to them to allow that serial trying to basically managing to that hold on and protect the target on that until eventually will continue the moving mannequins to that control like that movement. Yeah, until that point, I'm going to think whatever man as well as some organ as well sitting in matching as well into that perfection is the target that the fun. It's like the from like the change and what is like things that I'm going to okay, so that definitely my journey is a question right now than that it might be a went that might be left with a guy with the plane for the name of the game, but definitely now after like Sullivan capturing points like considering that Sullivan after like interrogating points might have released points might have been or might have happened with the name of the game. So like the Sullivan is like interrogation of that point in like future for like of like the Nevada lab that what might have happened might have been like points might have related to the new two labs Sullivan myself clearly emphasized on like 11 being innocent and being the only hoping to Sullivan's the new film. So like at that point, like everything is might have been so that Sullivan about like the family or that home might have been like Sullivan, but like Sullivan might have seen that part of as black and as good life by instead of particular might be along the lines of like the controlling that Sullivan might have came down to definitely not and that way because Sullivan might have these point like still from like several perspective like several might have still seen 11 as like the main from which is like the villain I thought it might have been one in the so that I'm bring after like when the Sullivan might have maybe a professional correction Sullivan might have released for back to the comments Hopper might have like back to like Hopper might have managed to get in touch with Blackboard and might have and in like all the strategy, all the pro strategy and everything in like season 5, like everything about horses that might have been today about might be like that with the taste today. So like might have been maybe might have reviewed like their frequency of that their secret frequency of communication between that and like might is their case to hold the believers so it was like might have been consider like the and 14 and consider less about the like regardless of like how and like then that is like my then that is expecting try to like more that background and the scenario is being happening and like for the value background and then making up in such situation so like that point especially so like automated consider such about there like might have to consider like the help of like phones would be valuable so suddenly due to considering this factors like is that frequency like the variable to force and that will improve the frequency communication or might have been within that time might have been up to date with like all the limits of that performance might and definitely was rated so definitely that way the person saying the situation like unlike naturally that might have been today about it and like folks might have been able to let me speak or see that like certain about that like saying it naturally and like situation ending up in like experience control for manner like it might have been different scenes such a scenario and then that way then folks might have decided to like limit it to like matching and that way like might have made it in time like matching as a million that they also made a also form a team as well, big teams as well to Nancy. Might be like the games that they also might have created like a new set of like team and basically to help with that my sense. There are teams in the they are different right now uh, for like multiple individuals with like flamethrowers like without deadly for example to match right now the end of Mari that and that way, according to my brother, eventually for like going and started into like joining forces like basically and with like Mike and team as well, them all joining forces and deciding to like bring down like now together. It's like that has to be what you're like saying this now that was about like such current battle against the current work. It's like saying this now that was on the framework. It is so that particularly on the computer and machine right now, for like the chance that that is voice like that similar point over what of the yeah, that point and that how the I'm about and getting back on that feature that we have that point like that I'm about straight away that taking away like the target all the targets in like the ones in like my position as well as that you're sending some targets and like the targets taking away like the targets in like position and the Demogorgons like get it back up and says now like the art of that woman and they taking away that the target thing that the art has been and it's now that I'm going to looking at that for that I'm all looking that turning back exactly to where the MAC-ZVecna where right now it is still saying that absolute fearless like it's now so like at that point of the different right now slowly walking towards that group of that Mike and Fred and Joyce and basically right now at that point that staring basically staring at Joyce is like it's not that I'm going to fix and but now most likely when staring at Joyce like telling Mike and all that basically that he will be back for now of the and basically for them to like get ready for like of the and basically that way like but now you know the like them governments like taking away all the targets loading their and leaving that big and like magazine system like the scenario that I'm uploading and not the beginning that they thinking about it like the scenario that I'm made of my economic Robin in the uploading on seeing instead of thinking about it and procedures just like the scenario that I'm posting and that way like I'm sort of like but along with like the Demogorgons like the taking all the targets to that giant structure with monsters more like the spin-offs that are possible to the end right now and that those monster remains separation and getting ready more like planning to make that return to pocket with that what might be right now in the planning might be kind of offering of that can extreme to hit planning so that then give like the site like the guy something that wants to that way of something that the entire about getting world into at the time what into that the giants of the small location that even scenario that it was the Korean. So that believe my personal theory and recommend that is pretty much is for like so even has another like the guy with like the plate on survive the kind of like situation that maxi like this scenario that I would do and then typically my friend with the one like the guy with like the flame on that single guy with like the single guy with like the flame on might definitely hold definitely needs to get it. Ten balls are fighting and 10 balls to explode along with Black Knight and team with like with the scenario. Similar and working without second down with the section is now that yes, then that the name right now that is the person that it might do now, but for might be that the tiny like the spring of the name of the emergency. The name of the spring that the might team of the spring having just one single thing. Mike and then that team having just one single day to that form their ultimate strategy and that planning and everything and to prepare themselves to that for their final battle to let them down right now. I feel like that just would let the participants the whole of the yes, so like but on prevention right now as well. Like unlike Devon and Candy and every that still might not have said anything about at all. Might be like that that's the situation. Actual situation when like the situation that can because like the minimum benefits that is how current power might be solely to do that. Then being able to be connected to them, I might get on might be the circle because and being able to control. So the importance might be that the actual effective way to even get the public that we don't get. That we that government them okay, so many from the physical and time of the still battling against that right now by carry carry providing help in the case of that the battle against that like against like the battle against like the giant shadow after that like the new like ten bodies and all the more the example and would be bring to like the solar battle like with narrow balance the carry like losing power hallucination powers to creating hallucination of like demogorgon for like demogorgon like seeing hallucination of like some things and basically Shadi uses that as like strategy along with her ability of efficiently to battle against the horse of the like of the human race. And maybe I'm going to Shadi even creating that hallucination for even like the dancer by creating a hallucination of like a dancer. It's also like about the big side of it. Shadi even doing that going to those are the next kind of like within about the like strategy and also like about the why elements that in the programming to be mainly focused on that so then by like that when like now that I'm doing and I'm probably doing the play with trying like even only just secreting but now but like the loss of red night eventually Henry actually happening is like the now that on the other temporary and that's when once like the loss of like they will be happening that will after in the parliament to this cause might be inactivity totally dependent on for example simply I will like that with the team the minimum status so like but like the loss of like right now or like at that point like a different like will getting permanently disconnected from like the hive mind. And at that point, that will have an basis of also that we will active scenario that is in the like minus 10 right movement. That now it also extremely or from right season form, then it might be that actual state performance. So let's make it a form like that now. But having gained all the knowledge through the of language and into the even like the about like individual like around like the field targets around the case being tweaks in that body and mind like yes, but make them while having offering all this knowledge and but not targeting others in that form patients might be due to that but now patients and often might be like that is a real thing just like what is the the developing while it requires for other targets for like to that of to almost above the level of that the giant scale electric support thing that when it comes that when it comes to that target around direct space might take the require way more number of targets to open up that the very exact same scale of like the very exact same size as that physical thing might be like that with the same thing. So like right now might have felt more confident that might have felt based on that so that since it would only take for other targets like right now might have more confidently presented to target other in that season for let's say the might have been what might have happened to that person in that support thing to bring in up again.